Hey guys, it's Riley. I recorded my Sagittarius forecast for the next 6 months Prophecy Girl reading last night, and I figured I'd dive into the guidebook a little more for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer deck and read to you some little key parts of the book. So this one is titled Meeting Your Chosen One. Welcome to Sunnydale, where the weather is perfect, the bronze is jamming, and the dead don't stay buried. This is a town where magic, destiny, and power converge, making it the perfect inspiration for tarot. In this deck, you will reunite with some familiar faces, the Scoobies, Spike, Angel, and more, as well as some faces you maybe thought had been defeated already and sent back to hell. Just as Buffy discovered her fate through her experiences in Sunnydale, this tarot deck can help you understand your life's direction by using characters, artifacts, and significant moments from her world. Whenever you meet a new friend or a mysterious new demon hottie, it's nice to introduce yourself. Your tarot deck is no different. It's important to get to know it and tell it about yourself and how you'd like to work together. This can be accomplished by doing a few things. Okay, so side note, I recorded a video last night before I did the Sagittarius reading, which I'll upload later. I'm working with very slow Wi-Fi where I'm at right now, but I'll be moving soon, so that'll be better for uploading videos quickly. And in that video, I went through the different spreads that were listed in the back of the guidebook, and I did the spreads nice to meet you little 4-card pull, and it determined that's a separate video that I can link in this video at the end if you want, or I can drop it in the description. But basically what it said is it's open to any possibilities that I want to ask it. Like it started off with individual self-care, and I interpreted that as no love spreads, but then it said, basically the world is your oyster when it comes to this deck. So that was really nice to hear from the deck, and I'm really excited to do more readings and hopefully the channel will grow and you guys will like my content. So let me get back to the book. This can be accomplished by doing a few things. You may want to begin your relationship with your deck by cleansing it, but think less shower and more fun, witchy cleansing. Hints, crystals, candle. One easy way is to leave your cards in the light of the full moon or in a ring of salt to help shake off any bad vibes that they might have picked up. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Start a tarot diary and don't let anyone read it. A diary is like a person's most private place, just ask Buffy. As you go through your deck, examine each card and write down your first impressions. Okay, another side note. One of the first videos I recorded yesterday during the day when I got my deck in the mail from a friend was I started to go through the deck, each card, and got into like major spoilers for Buffy the show. I try not to do that too much in my readings that I do, but I was going through the individual cards, looking at the artistry, and maybe a little bit of what they meant, but in correlation with the show, really. I didn't really get into the traditional tarot meanings of, like, let's say the Five of Pentacles. I didn't really get into that. So I will upload that. It'll be on my channel probably when this uploads, honestly. But I'll let you know when that video is up. And I said I would do a part 2, so you guys can let me know if you want a part 2. I went through probably about 20-something, 30 of the cards, so that's close to half of the deck because it's a 78 card deck. So just let me know if you guys want a part 2, because I went through a lot of the minor arcanas. I didn't really get to the major ones. So, yeah. Based on the art, what do you think the card is communicating? Which cards stand out to you? You can use this diary to keep track of your readings, spreads you find helpful, and your progress as a tarot reader. After your deck has been cleansed and you've spent time with each card, consider conducting the Nice to Meet You spread on the next page. And that's what I talked about. I already did that. A spread is a layout of the cards with each card tied to a specific question. The cards you draw provide guidance for the matter at hand. If they are facing the reader, that is considered upright. If they are facing away from the reader, that is considered reversed. Aha. Okay, Major Arcana, the 411. Beginning with the Fool and ending with the World, these 22 cards are the main characters of the deck. Each one represents a universal life lesson, something all humans experience, and maybe vampires too, as we develop our spiritual, mental, and emotional maturity. Except vampires have like zero maturity, so let's call that a big never mind. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but it's kind of a joke. When a major arcana card appears in a reading, it signifies massive changes, ones that will help you grow into a knowing stuff type person. If a major arcana card is reversed, it means you're definitely visiting Denial Land and need to head on back to Pay Attentionville. Actually, in the Nice to Meet You spread, when I was like finding out what the deck was open to having me ask and what the types of spreads that I would be doing with it, the first one was Drusilla in the reverse position as the Empress. And yeah, it was kind of like a history of me uh, running away from tarot, I guess, because for so long I had opportunities to buy decks and everything, but I never did, and this time just seemed right because my friend ended up sending it to me in the mail when I posted on Facebook. Oh, I really want this Buffy deck. It looks new. I've never seen it. And I actually don't even have any tarot decks. And she was like, oh, what's your address? So she sent that to me like 2 days later. So that was really a blessing. But I'm not in denial anymore, so there we go. Moving on to Minor Arcana, the Deets. These 56 cards represent the daily grind, but before you get all eye-rolly and bored, you should know that these are some of the most helpful cards in the deck. They describe temporary states of being, arguments with your BFFs, celebrating another monster dusted, getting promoted to assistant manager of Double Meat Palace. You get the idea. The Minor Arcana can provide a mega useful amount of insight into your current circumstances, challenging the status quo and motivating you to work through tough times. The Minor Arcana includes 4 different suits: stakes, wands in traditional decks, and I already knew that, and I talked about it in my overview of the cards. Chalices, cups in traditional decks. Scythes, swords in traditional decks. Pinnacles, samesies as traditional decks. Jesus, they use samesies. That's funny. At the beginning of each discussing these suits' meanings, you'll find more information about what they address in a reading. Okay, I might edit this out, but I need to blow my nose, so excuse me. And drink some coffee. Refreshing. Okay, the suits. Stakes. The stakes are infused with the element of fire. When this suit sizzles into your reading, it's speaking to your deepest consciousness, creativity, raw passion, determination, and intuition. Its darker side warns of the destructive nature of fire, impulsivity, aimless wandering, and being in a bit of an egotistical butthead. The stakes challenge you to focus on how your thoughts turn into plans and how your intentions shape your actions. Chalices. Aligned with the element of water, the chalices are where all of your feelings flow. This suit, which corresponds to the suit of cups in traditional decks, guides your attention to relationships, emotional connections, and the power of your own imagination. When the waters get choppy, these cards warn against false expectations, restrained emotions, and rigidity. Scythes. Like their namesake, the scythes can both save and sever. Their dual-edged nature is helpful when slicing through difficult communication and dealing in matters of logic and intelligence. Corresponding with the suit of swords, these cards are associated with the air, bringing messages of clarity, courage, and sometimes harsh truths. Pinnacles. The pinnacles speak to your relationship with the tangible world, corresponding with the element of earth. In a reading, they signify some of Anya's favorite things: wealth, power, and a system of symbiotic beauty in which hard work is exchanged for sparkly things. The shadow side of Pinnacles harbors greed, prioritizing profits over people, and financial faux pas. Yeah, the Pinnacle card with Anya on it was the first card I pulled for the Sagittarian reading for the next 6 months, so that's kind of interesting. And then we get into the Major Arcana. Cool. Well, I think I'm going to leave that for when we get into the cards, or if I do a walkthrough of the rest of the cards, because I didn't get to the Major Arcana in my walkthrough of the cards and talk through the cards when I got into some major spores of Buffy. But I'm just going to lift my camera up and show you my little Buffy section over here, guys. So we have a couple framed comics of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series. And they're, of course, Willow and Tara comics. Even though I have tons of other comics, I just got these framed. And there's some trading cards. This one is from the episode Tabula Rasa. And that is actually a pullout right here. Oop, I switched it the wrong way. That's actually a pullout from Willow's grimoire, which is behind that comic right there. I might show that to you in a little bit. That's a trading card from the episode Family, which is season 5, episode 6. That centers around Tara's backstory and how she becomes cemented as a part of the gang. That's a new book that was published last year. I have yet to read it, but I'm sure I will someday. It's in my collection. It's the newest Buffy book in my collection. Into Every Generation of Slayer is Born. How Buffy Staked Our Hearts. That's just a Pride bookmark that I picked up from Books A Million that I figured will make a pretty good addition over here. This is the Buffy encyclopedia behind there. I got that years ago when they published it. Pretty freaking awesome. The Witch's Guide to Astrology. I may be reading out of this as I introduce different signs before I do the readings for them. This is actually not a Buffy book. This is the unofficial companion to Charmed, when it was only done with its second season, so 2000, the year 2000. Picked that up from a local bookstore used. Pretty sure I already had a copy, but it was in storage, so I figured, the more the merrier, why not have 2 copies? I could always give the other one to someone. So it gets into the history of magic and how the show Charmed was received and how witches have been persecuted over time. And then it gets into the practicality of the practice of magic, different incenses, different rituals, what you can do with candles, what you can do with crystals. It's like a little workbook, basically. So they'll ask you questions about what you've learned and stuff like that, and how you plan to implement it. So it's pretty cool. I have yet to write in it, but I'm sure I will. So back behind here, we have Willow's Grimoire, which is a really neat book. I might do a flip through later if you guys would like to see that. And behind here, we have, everything's falling down. 20 Years of Slaying. This is the Watcher's Guide, basically republished, because I have the original Watcher's Guides, which is the episode by episode breakdown of Buffy as a series, and there's 2 or 3 seasons in every Watcher's Guide. I think they released 3 or 4 different Watcher's Guides, but this is a condensed version of that with new interviews and stuff for the cast and crew. And then that is the full cover of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Encyclopedia. That's a big, really cool book. So, yeah. Here we go, guys. And then we have my candle snuffer outer. We have a candle, unlit. Kind of looks like a flower. I had lit it up for several different days, and it kind of melted down into that form, and I figured, you know what, I'm going to try not to like this anymore. And then there's my 3 rose quartz crystals that were actually given to be my customer that I delivered food to through DoorDash. She left me a $10 bill, and these little crystals in a baggie, and a note to me, and that was really sweet. I thought, it's the little things in life. And I looked up what rose quartz meant, and it's a manifestation of abundance and new love. So I figured, Those are basically the only crystals I have right now until I'm able to get more. So, you know, this is what I keep resting on the cards most of the time, under the light of the full moon or not. So, I'm going to sign off here, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video, and we will have more readings. Well, I will. Me and the deck. We will have more readings coming your way soon. Bye, guys. Love you. Peace.